Let me ask you something. Since when does criticizing a president become dangerous? Since when does doing your job as a journalist come with consequences that feel less like law and more like warning? This is Burden of History, and this is the real issue behind what's happening to Don Lemon. For years, Don Lemon did what a free press is supposed to do. He questioned power. He challenged lies. He refused to flatter a man who demands loyalty over truth. And Donald Trump never forgave him for it. Trump has never hidden his contempt for the press. He calls journalists enemies, he mocks them, he promises retribution against critics. So when a longtime, highly visible critic suddenly faces IRS scrutiny over tax filings that have been public knowledge for years, we need to ask why. The timing matters. Selective enforcement is still enforcement. And when the White House chooses to amplify this specific case on social media, not routine tax cases, not random audits, but this one involving this specific critic, that's not informational, it's symbolic. The message is clear. Criticism has consequences. Under Donald Trump, free speech isn't crushed outright. It's squeezed. You don't ban speech. You make it costly, you make it risky. You make people think twice. You don't have to silence everyone. You just target one person and make sure everyone sees it. That's the lesson. That's the warning. This is how freedom of speech actually erodes. Not overnight, not with dramatic orders, but when critics face harsher scrutiny than supporters. When journalists are treated first like activists, then like criminals. When enforcement repeatedly falls on familiar enemies while allies remain unexamined. You don't need signed directives to understand what's happening. You just need to recognize the pattern. Look at who surrounds Trump. Loyalists who frame criticism as betrayal and opposition as threat. This administration doesn't protect democratic dissent. It disciplines it. And that mindset doesn't strengthen democracy, it weakens it. This isn't about whether you like Don Lemon. It's not about his tone or politics. It's about whether criticism of power is still protected in this country or merely tolerated until it becomes inconvenient. Because the moment journalists ask themselves, is this worth the trouble? Is this story worth the audit, the investigation, the scrutiny? The press is no longer free. Free speech doesn't die when it's banned. It dies when it's punished just enough to make silence feel safer than speaking. And that is the burden of history we are watching form in real time.